that has helped him shoot up to Grandmaster, not as mid lane, but as support Orianna. Even our Grandmaster player thinks this might be the easiest playstyle we have found so far to get to high rank, so why not get some free LP? Eddie started playing League in Season 1, playing tons of normal games. By Season 3 he was getting bored, so decided to try ranked, duoing with a friend to see how high they could get. Starting off with Lulu support, he made it to Platinum for the first time. After getting a taste of climbing, Season 4 he was right back at it, aiming for Diamond. He'd already begun to start playing off-meta champions, with Velka's support being the champion that got him to Diamond for the first time. Season 5 he took a break, suffering from a ton of ranked anxiety. It's a hard thing to explain to those who don't have it, but most common it's a fear of losing something you've worked hard for. You don't want to queue up for the game, because there's a risk you'll lose, and then you'll lose the rank that you've gained. His solution? Make a new account that he could play on with no risk to his main rank. This helped him spam a ton of games, playing a new role, but a similar style, Shen top, with a focus on being very supportive to his team. And after that, he was able to play as many games as he wanted on his main account. Season 7 he gave up on Shen, because he knew his best role was in the bot lane, playing support, facilitating his carries to get wins. Returning to his old role paid off, and he climbed even higher to Diamond 2, but could not break into Master. Season 8 once again playing bot lane, but he was still hard stuck in Diamond. In Season 9, Sona became his best friend, finally breaking through to Master, and then into Grandmaster. It turns out that Sona is more supportive than Vel'Koz. He did however drop back to Diamond before the end of the season, so he was forced to go back to the drawing board to find a way to stay there. In Season 10, on his second account, he wanted to invent something that he could play without using his brain, a real AFK passive champion that could still win games. He chose a self-reliant mid laner with supportive abilities, Orianna. From playing Vel'Koz and other high attention champions where you need to position perfectly to DPS and win games, he found a champion that he could just have fun on and survive through lane no matter what. With a playstyle then of skipping everything and simply buying Ardent Sensor, he climbed to 150 LP Master with ease. When Season 11 came round, Riot almost seemed to add the perfect item for this guy, Moonstone, and in pre-season he hit Grandmaster again by rushing it immediately. Now he sits even higher, almost 500 LP in Grandmaster, and has perfected the Orianna support playstyle, finding an item that's even better than Moonstone. So why does it work in Season 11? Eddie has found a way to almost AFK in lane, and make it benefit him. Orianna has many special abilities as a support. She has a shield on her E. This is what Eddie maxes first. This ability not only is a spammable shield, it also gives resistances to your target, and has a super high range, so Orianna never even has to be close to the person she is protecting. This gives Orianna amazing synergy with melee dive champions like Camille or Hecarim, rather than being a support like Lulu or Janna, who should be staying in their backline with their AD carry, ready to peel for them. As Orianna you can stay safe in the backline, but still be contributing to the dive. The resistances on this ability also never break if your ball stays on someone, even after the shield disappears, meaning you're always an invisible force affecting the fight. The reason these resistances are so important is because they get such high numbers. It's roughly 1,000 gold of stats on top of the shield. This ability can give 2 cloth armors and 1 and a bit null magic mantles each time you use it, meaning whoever you put it on is going to be a very tanky boy. From there, on Orianna W, you also have a speed boost that again can go on someone who is super far away from you, letting your team chase the enemy down. And not to forget one of the best ultimates in the game, Shockwave, which is normally one of her biggest damage abilities. It's still there, but now turns into a very useful CC tool to create a fight. With a high cooldown reduction build, Eddie can spam this whenever he has the chance to create a pick, and not have to worry about saving it for that 5-man Shockwave. Also, I already mentioned Moonstone, the broken item that has been changed in 6 patches already since it's been released. Balanced team working perfectly, as they always do, but recently Riot also made another support item really overpowered, especially for Orianna, Shurelya's. With this playstyle, Orianna already wants to spam shield and movement speed on her carries, so adding Shurelya's lets her create a ton of plays and picks for her team. Maybe you're just an AD carry, starting a fight in mid. Oh, here comes a melee carry being sped up right into your face. You're out of position and you're dead. Fight is over. So many of the plays in these games start with an Orianna speed up. Speed equals options for your team in any situation. If you need to escape, speed lets you juke skills and run. If you need to get an engage, then speed lets your team break the rules of what engages are possible, giving you the surprise advantage. No one in solo queue is going to expect these engages unless they've seen this video. In a world of OP picks and champions that Riot refuse to remove from the meta even after 5 months, why not pick something that makes them even stronger? Here's an incredible example of it working. A nerfed Hecarim and an Orianna, 2 versus 4. Orianna speeds Hecarim up to get a first kill, slowing Galio to keep him in range, kiting out of the Galio ult while still protecting her carry with a super long range. More movement speed, Hecarim can do whatever he wants here, and it's not done. Another EW speed lets Hecarim join the next fight, grabbing a final kill for their team. Now I promised this style was AFK, and this is where it starts. In lane at level 1, Orianna takes E. This playstyle is an AFK support, and your goal is to scale through lane, not to dominate it, because you don't need to. Orianna is a great scaling champion. Most AD carries are great scaling champions. All you want to do is get to a later point in the game where your AD carry has items and you can support them. That is his whole goal, and it really works. Eddie helps push wave for level 2, shielding any damage. At level 2, Orianna takes W. Again, this gives him and his AD carry even more safety. If you took Q, you would not be doing much damage, but W can enable damage, just like a Lulu speed up. Shield your AD carry, and if they want to trade, you can push them into it. At level 3, Eddie does something surprising, taking a second point in E, not even leveling Q. He has one job, and he focuses on that one job: stay alive, and get to a point where he can fully support his team. So everything he does, including this, is stalling to that point. It's quite nice to see this chill style, because lots of players are already trying to force a kill by now to get ahead, but Eddie doesn't need it. Just like a Lulu support doesn't need a kill. Enemies are forced to try and beat Orianna. She can just wait, let them make a mistake, and then capitalize on it. If you're against an engaged support and they throw out their skill shots, stand behind CS so it can't hit, or try and predict it, then use W movement speed for an easy dodge. At level 4, Eddie does take Q. What if the enemy jungler's bot slide and you don't have any wards? Put your Q into a bush in their gank path and keep watch. It gives just as much vision as a ward. Same thing for face checking bushes at any point of the game. Orianna doesn't need to do it. She can just use her Q to check. So as Orianna support, you should not be dying to some random bush camp. In lane with an Emax Orianna against any kind of trading, you can simply shield their damage and walk away. Trading back is no more effective, and blocking them over and over again just makes this lane feel helpless to play against. Just like a Lulu, who is likely to be a permaban this patch, you can shield your AD carry and give them extra time in the trade to make it work. If you see the enemy support roaming, or you need to go get a dragon, Orianna can easily control the wave. A QWE combo shoves faster than any other support, giving you instant lane priority. At level 6 you get ultimate, and Eddie believes that now you become the strongest playmaking enchanter support. Your goal is to land it on anyone and create a target for your team to focus. Squishies are a priority, you can really use it whenever you have the chance. It is insane at making enemies get out of position. If you are roaming, it will be the reason your roams work. Orianna Shockwave is incredible gank setup when playing mid, so now think of it as a gank assist tool. It's perfect. Try to pull enemies back towards your team while using QW and auto attacks for damage. Just like any support, you can now start to roam for these plays when your wave is pushed or your AD carry is in base. But your AD carry is probably angry enough already that you're playing off meta, so don't leave them for too long. In mid game, you can still chill and keep your brain off if you wish. Eddie's goal is to support any plays his team makes and turn them into good ones. He doesn't have to be pressuring the enemy jungler, looking for an engage, invading. He can be sitting with his team, waiting for them to do something stupid, and then turn it into something not so stupid. Start using Q in every bush you walk past to make sure it's safe. This will really lower your random death counter, and dying too much is one of the biggest reasons people cannot climb. Q can be cast in the bush, then walked away from while it travels, so you can stay away and let it do the work for you. The big secret about how to ward like a challenger player is to ward in locations that cover as many jungle paths as possible. Have a look at this spot. What do you think of it? If you ward here, you are covering enemies that walk in from wolves, mid, their base, bot lane, and blue buff, so you will always get a huge amount of information, wherever they come from, as well as learn where they're going. Compare it to a ward like this. You only see a single path, and do not get any info on where they're going afterwards, so it's almost completely useless. It gives you information that a champion is there for 1 or 2 seconds, then becomes worthless. If you think about this every single time you're warding, your effectiveness as a support will shoot up. And also remember, the later the game goes, the more likely enemies are to have control wards, so your warding spots may need to change as the game goes on. Back to our example, you want to see all of these paths, right? But this bush is a very common control ward spot for the enemies, so your ward needs to avoid it. Place it here instead, so it can't be seen, but you still get all the vision. Same thing on top. If you want to cover these areas, but avoid any control wards, place it around a wall, so that the control ward's vision is interrupted before it disables your ward. Back to Ori, in teamfights try and keep your ball on the most important person. If your bruiser is engaging, he is the one that needs it. By this point, bruiser champions will be the strongest in the game, while your AD carry is still waiting to get items. So in many of these clips, Orianna simply just puts her ball on a melee carry, speeds them up, and lets them destroy the fight. You don't even really need that AD carry. Here's a great teamfight example. Ori speeds up her melee carry Aatrox so he can get in range for a stride breaker slow to engage the fight. This traps 2 enemies in the front of the fight, setting up a 2-man Orianna ult to hold them in place for Tristana damage. Ball goes back to Aatrox as he goes to town on the enemy team, running them down for a victory. Your main goal is not to turn a fight or to land a huge engage. It is to give your team the option to create a very fast fight the backline champions cannot escape. Here's another example, Echo in the river looking to engage. Ori speeds him up from long range, letting him set up a stun field and get in range to E onto an enemy carry. Blue team collapses, fight is already over, they keep running it down and get another kill, turning it into an objective afterwards. If the speed up engage cannot happen, then your other option is peeling with your abilities. It's not Orianna's greatest greatest strength, but a well-placed shockwave can cause enemies to instantly disengage, or die. Like with this Nocturne, Orianna forces him to either flash away from shockwave or die to his team, so Nocturne leaves, letting Orianna's team chase, stopping a potentially very bad fight. In late game your goals are similar to mid game, keep your ball on the engager to help them engage, but you can also take it to your backline carries if they're under threat, and use ult as a peel tool instead. It's not a bad skill to use for CC as it really interrupts the play they're trying to make, throwing them in a different direction. There's actually a theory in high-ranked Overwatch, with one of the most important ults in the game, Zarya Graviton Surge. It works pretty much the exact same as Orianna ult, pulls enemies in, so most often it's used to get a big setup for a fight. But alternatively, Zarya can use it to kill a very important target who is diving your carries. It is not uncommon for a Zarya to throw this huge cooldown ultimate on a single assassin in her backline to guarantee a one-man advantage in the fight. So why not give this a try on Orianna? Use your ultimate on your AD carry and stop them dying to an assassin. Orianna ult even has a much lower cooldown with this special build. For his build, start Relic Shield for the safety in lane. I'm sure that just like with Tank Veigar, Spell Thieves is a good option too, but your goal is not to poke the enemies, so you shouldn't care about the mana. Relic Shield fits this playstyle, whereas Spell Thieves forces you to be active, putting you at risk. First item, right now he's preferring the Shurelya's build, but Moonstone is a viable option as well first item. Get Ionian Boots for even more cooldown reduction. From there you can choose what is best for your team. Staff for Flowing Water is always a consistent item here, that now gives AP and ability haste rather than movement speed. You can go Ardent Censer if you have good champions on your team that benefit from attack speed, or Mikhail's if you have an important CC on the enemy team that you need to remove, for example Ash Arrow or TF Gold Card. Pretty much all support items work here. If it works on Lulu, it works on Orianna. Here's his usual rune page. Guardian for another safety shield for lane. Conditioning is best, but replace it with Second Wind against poke, or Bone Plating against all-in champions like Leona. Free boots are great on scaling champions for free gold, so he takes those. And cookies again make laning easy. I'm testing this on Twitch right now. Our goal this year is to get to Master for the first time, so come check it out.
We need to regroup. Regroup or retreat.
The sweet smell of science.
Unstoppable. Dominating. Blue team double kill. team's turret has been destroyed.
Smell of science.
Red team's turret has been destroyed. Legendary. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Shut down. Red team triple kill.
Ah, the sweet smell.
No fighting destiny.
Legendary.
Really?
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
its destiny. Already gone.
Aced.